Hey folks, in this video I'm going to talk about the profile, care, and propagation of the Begonia Lichenora. Now if you're wondering why there's all this flickering, stay tuned and I'll show you what lamp not to purchase off Amazon. But anyway, the Begonia Lichenora is essentially a small begonia where the leaves don't get up to an inch in size even, or they max out around an inch. They hail from the island of Sarawak, and being a tropical begonia, you want to give them warmer temperatures. You don't want it to drop down below, I'm going to say around 55, although I did not really find any information online giving a temperature range. And being a small begonia, you don't really want it to get extremely hot, so no more than 90 to 95 degrees Fahrenheit max. And the reason being is because it's small, you don't want it to dry out. So it's a really cool miniature begonia because under the right lighting conditions, it displays some iridescence. And under these grow lights, I have not been able to enjoy the iridescence of this begonia. But there is another variety you can find online called the Begonia Sarawak, which is claimed to be a different begonia than the Begonia Lichenora and is priced a lot more, even though this one is not the cheapest plant to find either. But I believe they are the same thing. Different plants under different growing conditions will have different growth habits, and it looks very similar anyway, so I wouldn't spend my money on getting one advertised Begonia Sarawak and as a more rare variety at all. With that, let us talk about the propagation of the Begonia Lichenora. Looking at the top of this open terrarium, you can see how the Begonia Lichenora has grown here and gone all the way there, so it's encroaching on my Marcgravia. So I want to first see if I can pull it out, because this is the cutting I'm going to be propagating, and it's actually well rooted in there, so I don't need to really propagate, but just take the cutting and grow it. So I'm going to actually come here and just trim this off and try to sequester it, hopefully without damaging this plant. Begonia Lichenoras like high humidity, and as you can see, it's rooted, so I can go ahead and pot this up. I'm going to leave it upside down so I don't leave a mess there. And looking here, there's another sliver growing there that I can take cutting off. It has a root to it, and if you can see here, there's also some growing on the side of the glass. So yeah, you can see it right there easily. So I can actually take those cuttings, and also in the front here, I may want to not let this portion encroach too readily, and because I have a liverwort there that I want to, what's that, a Marcgravia leaf? I'll just leave it, maybe it will root. I haven't had much success with the Marcgravias. They don't root very readily. But I'm trying to pull this one out and go take the cut. Actually, I kind of like it now that I rooted it and have it wrapped around, so I'm going to leave that alone. So for now, I'm just going to go with this piece. Now, when it comes to propagating them, you could use a bin with sphagnum moss. You can see that I put some Selaginella windaloi, and I had, those were either Begonia taconite or Begonia involucrata, also known as metacroa. And I think it was a little too humid in here that they died. I had some Marcgravia survive, and I did propagate the Lichenora, and I see that there's a small piece of Lichenora growing here. Wow. So there was a small segment left in there, maybe a leaf or something. I'm going to let that sit here and get a little bigger. Now, once you have them root, whether you take a cutting and stick it in humidity or you pull it with roots, you can then have to acclimate it to slightly drier conditions from the extreme humidity, so you can put it into a nice terrarium like this and enjoy it. So I have a few tubs that I'm going to move, and then I can now show you the one, let me pull it out, that I had propagating in this bin over here. So I had I potted it up after I rooted it. Oh, I'm dripping. But you can see how happy it is, and under a different lighting you can see how it's a little, well, it looks about the same, but it does look a little darker, probably fresher leaves. But anyway, so this one's growing nicely, and pretty soon it should be big enough that I can enjoy it somewhere else, or give it or sell it to someone. Probably see if I can sell it and start getting some money for propagating plants, hopefully as a business soon. That's what I'm trying to work towards, then quit my day job. Anyway, so I'm going to set this back where I have it. I have it in another tub with a bunch of Begonia pavoninas that I pulled from another humidity container and allowing them to grow. And I see that I have a couple that have died. Not every, a lot of times when you propagate, sometimes just transferring the plant will literally, oh, look, a gnat. When you transfer the plant, that can stress it to kill it. So not every cutting, even professional nurseries don't have 100% success rate on a lot of plants, but I'm just going to leave that in here like that and let the roots slowly grow into the soil, and I will have another nice potted Begonia Lichenora. So now let us discuss that horrible plant light and what brand it is from Amazon, or that I purchased off Amazon. Many websites claim that the Begonia Lichenora will easily rot if you get water on the leaves. I have not had the issue with mine rotting, but that is one more thing to note. Probably having them under grow lights has helped, but this light is really terrible. It's really nice in the fact that you have this base that's a heavy-duty base, but this cable, it really, as I was setting it, it wasn't long enough to put on the top of a bookcase and then plug it in. I had to put a short extension cord, and along there when it's hanging down, it also has an adapter that, basically this thing hit me on the head when I was setting it up. But it's nice that that's telescoping, so it seemed like a really good lamp to buy. However, I'm going to lock the camera and see if I can raise this up. They should have had all the circuitry at the top instead of it laid out like that to collect dust. And another thing is you can see how the light looks ugly. You can see the purples and stuff instead of it being natural light, and I don't care much for those purpley grow lights. It looks like it has a mix in there. You can see the reflection and how it has different lights, but some of the LED lights will start to flicker, some will die, they'll come back on, etc. But I want to adjust the brightness and see if I can show you what the lights look like a little. So anyway, you can see how some LEDs are flickering. So this is a terrible light. So now you may wonder, what brand is this so I know not to purchase it? So this light is of a brand called LBW. There's actually an LBW store on Amazon, and it says the title is LBW Grow Light for Indoor Plants, Full Spectrum Desk LED Plant Light, Small Grow Lamp with 4H, 8H, 12H timer, 6-level brightness, height adjustable, flexible gooseneck, ideal for indoor grow. And it has 673 ratings as of this article, with 69% giving it a 5-star, 16% a 4-star, 6% 3-star, 3% 2-star, and 5% 1-star. I have not yet left a review, but if I do, it's not going to be a good one because I feel like all the circuitry is not that great. And I like the fact that it had a base without it being essentially sticking into a pot or clamping. It seemed practical for this purpose, but I have not been happy with it. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video on the profile care and propagation of the Begonia Lichenora. My apologies that I was not able to show you the iridescence, but hopefully I can get it to grow in a condition to iridesce soon. Thanks for watching and happy planting.